Hello English 100 students, this is your professor Michael Bloomingberg, and I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you to the spring 2017 semester and the opportunity to work with you throughout the term. This video is designed to walk you through the syllabus, so you might want to refer to this before you attempt your coursework, and we'll talk about how the class is laid up coming up in the video. But this is English 100. This is the English workshop. It is a complementary class to your English 101 course. Some of you may have me for your 101 instructor online, or you may have someone else either online or face-to-face. Whatever the case may be, I'm excited to work with you, and the purpose of this class, as you will find out as we go along, is to make sure that you're successful in your English 101 class. So the course description says that English 100 provides parallel and supplemental review of English skills needed for students with a compass placement score between 70 and 80 who are also enrolled in 101. If these students withdraw from English 100, they must also withdraw from English 101. So please note that in that way the two classes are connected. And the prerequisites are listed. The competencies are listed too, but to make a long story short, I just want you to know that this class is designed to make you successful in English 101. Now, I have developed my own system for this. This is something new this semester. I've redesigned the class, and I'll walk you through it in a separate video, which I'll lead you into at the end of this video. There are no textbooks required for the class other than your regular English 101 textbooks. We probably won't be using them a lot, but one thing I'll talk about in a moment is the opportunity for you, even though you are taking this class online, to have the chance to come into the lab if and when needed. So we'll talk about that. Writing utensils and a notebook is always good if you want to take some notes. Again, my name is Michael Bloomingberg. I've been teaching at Somerset Community College for 7 years now, and I enjoy teaching both face-to-face and online. And I do utilize YouTube for videos, so I am a big proponent of using videos. And I hope that this first video you found pretty helpful or will find helpful. My office is located in 104 of the North Laurel Building 1. My office number is listed on the syllabus, as well as my email address. And please know that email is the best way to contact me if you have any questions about anything in the class. Office hours: Monday 1:30 to 3, Tuesday 8:30 to 2, Wednesday 11 to 2, Thursday 11:30 to 12:30. And because you guys are online, this is what's called a web local class. Now, you don't ever have to come in for this class. All the work can be completed online. But if you need some supplemental instruction or you need to come in and see me, please note that the lab that the face-to-face class will utilize is in Laurel North Building 1, room 156. So all online students are encouraged to come by the lab for instruction and insight if and when needed. So maybe I'll be working with some of you face-to-face throughout the semester. Who knows? If you can't make it in at any point, there's no harm done. It can all be done online. You don't have to come in, just to be clear. But if you are struggling with your 101 class, I would suggest you come in so we can talk about it. Division Assistant for Transitional Education is Tammy Woodall, and the Associate Dean for Transitional Education is Kim Kleberg. I've placed their information on the syllabus should you ever need to use it. Now, hopefully by now you all have an active KCTCS email account. Just make sure that you check it often, as there are updates that I send out from time to time. And please note that your password does expire every 90 days, so you need to keep regular watch on that. We're utilizing Blackboard as our software in the class. That's something that you probably use in all of your classes. But there will be a separate video in the Start Here tab in Blackboard that'll walk you through the software. So grading criteria with the Blackboard system that we use, there are 4 units that you're going to work through that will help you improve your writing, and the assignments in those units are worth 40% of your overall grade. There are also post-tests that demonstrate your understanding of the units. Those are also worth 40% of your grade, and participation is worth 20%. There is the possibility that you may have a final in the class. There are exemptions to that, but we'll talk about it. Just note that your final in the class fits in as a unit under the unit post-test option. First week policy. Students are required to, either by phone or in person or message board, contact their instructor the first week of class. Please note the deadline on the first week's work on Blackboard. So we'll talk about that in a follow-up video. Withdrawal policy, I think we've already talked about it, but because the 101 and 100 class are kind of brother or sister, or however you want to look at it, courses, if you withdraw from one, you do have to withdraw from the other. Late work policy is at my discretion, and it's if and only if you have made an arrangement prior to certain due dates. Just contact me via email or give me a call or stop by, whatever works best for you, and we can talk about what's going on if you're late turning an assignment in. Written work policies on the syllabus. I won't spend a whole lot of time on that, but it's there for you to look at should you have the need to look that over. And it's basically standard for your college English level classes. So it's not that unusual, really, but I'll let you look at that on your own. Went a little too far there. Section 4, there is some information I want to read to you, starting with the ADA statement. I am required by law to share that with you. If you need accommodation for a disability, you must register with Disability Services. Please contact Rosetta Berry, Manager of Disability Services, to set up an appointment to discuss accommodations. The office in Somerset is in the Student Commons building, room 117. The office in London is building 3, room 103A. And the phone number is 606-541-6076, or you may contact Rosetta Berry at her email, which is listed in the ADA statement. Academic honesty. Long story short, don't cheat. It's not going to do you any good in this class. There are lots of red signs. But students who do cheat and are caught cheating will incur an academic penalty or disciplinary penalty that may include expulsion from the college. I have linked for you the Student Code of Conduct if you would like to look that over. Numbers 3 and 4 pertain more to face-to-face classes, so I'll skip over those. Safety and security. If you do find yourself on campus, maybe you have face-to-face classes or you come in to meet with me, just note that there are safety and security measures. And if you're not familiar with SNAP, which is a text message alert system, there's a link on the syllabus. You might want to check that out. Starfish is a program that we have been using for a few years now. And ever so often in the semester, I will be asked to complete a survey for each of my classes, which is sent to the student and the student's advisor, informing both parties of academic progress. So when I send those out, you'll get notifications in your email to let you know. And that is always a good way to know how you're doing in the class. But as you'll find out in a future video, My Grades is also set up on Blackboard for your use, and we'll talk about that. Discrimination, harassment, sexual misconduct. Students may direct complaints of discrimination or harassment to the Dean of Student Affairs, Tracy Cassida, and her email and phone number is listed there. There are also links that you can review for the Code of Conduct, Security and Parking, and Student Life, so that you can get familiar with those policies. And last but not least, and again, this is more for face-to-face contact, if you're on campus, just know that the campuses, both at Somerset and London, as well as the centers, Macquarie, Casey, Russell, etc., they are all tobacco-free facilities. And so that covers the nuts and bolts of the class. I want to walk you into the content very quickly, and I'm going to make a video that will show you how to work through the modules. But what we're doing here is we're, for the first time, and I redesigned the class just this semester, you're using modules to work your way through. These are modularized units. There are 4 units in total, and each unit has 3 topics. So, for example, if you look at basic grammar, it gives you a suggested time of 4 weeks, and that's to work 1 week to work through each of the topics: common sentence problems, subject-verb agreement, and commonly confused words. That is 3 weeks, or 1 week per each topic, and that gives you 1 week to complete a post-test. Now, the biggest thing to know about the post-test, and I'll follow up with this in the next video, but you cannot complete a post-test until you have worked through all the topics in the unit. If I find students are doing that, I will disregard those scores and actually wipe them free until you have worked through each of the assigned topics in the unit. So you have basic grammar, you have writing modes, which again is 4 weeks suggested, MLA documentation, which is 3 weeks suggested, and I skipped one, sorry about that. Essay structure is the 3rd one, and MLA documentation is the 4th one. Now the cool thing about this is you can work according to what's happening in your English 101 class. So if you start out of the gate looking at writing modes, you might want to jump with number 2. You don't have to work 1, 2, 3, 4. You can work out of order. In other words, you can go 2, 4, 3 if you want. The reason this is set up this way is because all 101 instructors are a little different in how they approach their content. So some instructors may start with the grammar unit. And if so, that's probably where you should start. Or if in the first week it's not really clear where you're starting, sometimes the first week's just kind of getting momentum in the class, start with basic grammar. But if you, once you get it done, if you find you're looking more at essay structure, go on down to number 3. Or if you're working on critiques, you might go work on the 2nd unit, and so on and so forth. So it's designed not to be linear 1, 2, 3, 4, but it's designed to allow you to work on the topics that you're working on in 101 or that may be giving you trouble at that particular point in your 101 class. Now I want to go down and look at some things to keep in mind. The post-test is always multiple choice. You do this, of course, when you work through each of your topics. So, for example, you see right now on the syllabus MLA documentation research. So you'll work through the topic avoiding plagiarism, you'll work through in-text citation, and you'll work through works cited. Then you can take your post-test. It's always multiple choice. It's always 10 questions. And you need to answer 7 of the 10 correctly to get mastery of the topic. And you may say, what happens if I don't demonstrate mastery? Well, you have 2 attempts in total. So try it again. If you still don't demonstrate it after the 2nd one, we're just going to have to go with the score that you've earned. We can always take the highest of the 2 scores. But if you take it the first time and you get like a 50, you only answer 5 of the 10 right, you need to slow down and go back and look over the information in the units to make sure you're understanding things properly. You can also contact me and we could talk about what may be going wrong or maybe even what's going right. But 70% is what you need. That should be your goal for the post-test. Of course, you want to get higher if you can, but at least 70. Now, face-to-face students have the lab that we've already talked about, but where you're online, most of you will probably be working at home, but if you need to come into the lab, you are strongly encouraged to do that. I will be around Laurel North, either in 156 or my office 104. Just drop in if you have questions and we can go over the information. Now, where you're online, we'll be utilizing a little bit more of the discussion board than we would be with the face-to-face, just so we can communicate better that way. And the final exam is cumulative. That means that it takes questions from all 4 units. Now, there are some exemptions to the final exam, and I'll conclude the syllabus video by talking about those exemptions. First, all students who complete all units and topics and post-tests before finals week will not be required to take the final. And just so you're clear, that means you completed all 4 units. If you just do that and work your normal pace, all is well. You don't have to take the final. And that's the biggest one for you guys as an online class. I put a little carrot for my face-to-face that if they have 2 or fewer absences, they're not required to do that either. I know this is a lot of information, but I'll make some follow-up videos that I think you'll find helpful. This video was just designed to walk you through the syllabus. So if you have questions, as always, feel free to contact me. Email, again, being the easiest way to do that. Good luck, guys, and if you have questions, let me know. Take care.